Hey, 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 we are back. We are back. And today I'm excited about this particular topic because not only have I dealt with this, but I've had other people who I had conversations with that have had the same thing. So this one is really about procrastinating, the questions we never ask, breaking free from that unresolved pain. Um, it's really get into a space where you are not allowing um, people, their offenses to take control over you, right? So I got a question for you all, and I know we still don't have people on yet, and we're gonna be coming on in a minute. But one of the questions I have is, what are you carrying you were never meant to carry? And that could be from 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Some people hold on to it for 20 years plus. What are you holding on to, or what are you carrying that you were never meant to carry? The conversations that you have been avoiding, the betrayal that happened a year ago or 20 years ago, that offense that happened 5 years ago. What are you holding on to? Because sometimes what I have found is we tell ourselves we have moved on and we're in a good space, but we haven't had a resolve or have asked the question. So we're sitting and we're still somehow that's still an issue. So we also tell ourselves that it don't bother us. And I've been guilty of that, right? And I'll give you an example. I'm gonna give you a fresh example of what I'm talking about. So when I was growing up, I had a traumatic experience where there was some childhood abuse, and I let that fester, and I never asked the question. And that person passed away probably about over 20 years ago, close to 30 years ago. And I thought, you know what? I'm not even going to deal with it. And I kind of hid it under the rug and didn't deal with it. But it was manifesting in ways where I was so bitter and so upset and so angry that it was impacting other relationships that I had. And I thought I had moved on. I thought, I'm fine. But I really wasn't until I sat and really I couldn't get answers from that particular person, but I was able to get my answers by going to therapy and getting the help that I needed so that I could have some resolve and I could be the person that I am today. So when we talk about that, you think we have healed and we moved on, but in all honesty, we really haven't.
Mhm.
I'm gonna pass it to you.
Thank you, dear. Well, welcome to another episode. Thank you all for joining us, those who will join and those who will watch later. We really appreciate you taking your time out to be with us and to just allow us a moment,
Mhm.
just to pause, just to relax and to listen and to really reflect and to think about who we are and where we are, and most importantly, where we're headed. So, thank you for joining once again. And we're talking about procrastination. And was it third time?
Yeah, this is the third and final.
Third and final?
We had
Yeah.
a little series, right, of procrastination, and we talked
Yeah.
about a couple things in the last, three episodes. This is the last one, though, that we'll talk about procrastination, and this is important because we, again, from a healing perspective, and not carrying on things that weigh us down, that stop us from moving forward. It's important that we don't procrastinate either getting the healing that you need with therapy or whatever that looks like for you, or going to someone and having the conversation. And one example that I'm thinking of is I remember when your mom was, she was sick and she was in that final stage of probably the last 6 months of her life. And her and I had a conversation, and she was like, you are so much more forgiving than I am. And I told her, I'd always been like this. But she said she was holding on to stuff that your grandma did, stuff that people had done to her years and years before. And it was like, how do you say stuck in that? Because being stuck in her example was she wouldn't go anywhere, she wouldn't travel, she wouldn't do anything. She just want to live her life as fully as she possibly can. So can we talk about that just a little bit? I'm sorry if I put you on the spot.
Not having conversations
Hmm.
is one of the main issues that we have. Is why we get stuck.
Yeah.
Because we're left with a void, but in a sense, a heaviness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's heavy on our hearts, it's heavy on our minds, and it's impactful.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can move along, but we never detach from it.
Mm.
And occasionally it comes back up a little bit deeper than sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's those moments we have where we realize I'm still not okay.
Yeah.
I still don't have an answer. I still don't understand. And I'm still living with this thing.
Yeah.
But because I'm angry, because I convince myself I don't care, it doesn't matter, but we still hold on to it. But we
Mm.
try to say things to make ourselves feel better about keeping it.
Mm.
But we want to stay mad
Yeah.
because in our hearts and in our minds, we didn't deserve it.
Yep.
In our hearts and minds, they shouldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm.
They should have realized what they didn't realize.
Yeah.
They should have said what they didn't say, or they shouldn't have said what they did say. And one conversation I didn't realize I avoided for years. And one day it hit me. I was talking with the person that I needed to have a conversation with, and it was my dad.
Mm.
And we were talking about church and having a good conversation. And I felt the freedom in that moment because everything was flowing and we were both opening up and talking about different things. And I said, well, you know what? There's something I never really brought up. And I'll never get an answer if I never ask. So I asked the question, pretty much what happened. You know, he wasn't there with me when I was a child. He made decisions that was beyond my understanding. And I never had answers as to why he was absent. So I said, okay, let's ask. So I was talking to my dad. So I said the question was, how was life with your dad?
Mm.
Because I wanted to know what type of dad he had or example he had. And conversation didn't go as I expected, but his dad was pretty much absent too.
Mm.
So it was like a cycle.
Yeah.
And the next question was why he made the decisions he made. And he pretty much told me because it was his life to live, and he chose to live how he wanted to.
Mm.
Wasn't what I expected to hear, but I needed an answer so I could have an understanding of who I was talking to, who I was dealing with, and the whys that I may have had through the years that I may have covered up with I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I really was okay, but it was just this void. I just wanted to know why I was there, why the choices were made that were made, why some things weren't said that
Mm-hmm.
I thought should have been said. And we had a good conversation afterwards. And he explained everything. He explained who he was in his childhood and growing up. And I got what I needed.
Yeah.
He passed away, a few years ago. And I'm glad that I actually got an opportunity to ask the question that I needed answers to. He was open to answer all of them.
Yeah.
So sometimes we think the person won't respond the way we want them to. They may get upset if we ask certain types of questions, but we never know
Yeah.
until we just bring it up. But that's just one example of, a conversation that I didn't realize I was avoiding for so long. And in that moment, something just hit me to say, okay, let's
Yeah.
just have it now. Let's just ask and see what happens. Very open to it. I got all the answers I needed, and I'm okay with it. It was his answer. I accepted whatever came out of his heart, from his heart and his mouth, and Yeah, I appreciated it.
Yeah, so thank you for that. Hey family, how you doing?
Who's that?
Deja. So we are
Hey.
talking about procrastinating, the questions we never ask. When you talk about hurt, pain, offense, sometimes we carry on those things for years and years and years. And if you don't like address it and you say, I'm good, and you really not good because you haven't had the conversation that Andre just talked about. All I've learned that all you do when you don't really get the healing that you need because you're procrastinating, I don't need it. You're telling yourself all these things, but it's still manifesting in different areas that you are not healed, that you have not forgave. So all you've done is you relocated your hurt. So you moved it from the front of your mind to the back of your mind. You moved it from your conscious thoughts to your unconscious thoughts. You moved it from the living room to a locked closet that you don't want to deal with. And you'll never get the answers if you don't ask. And as you were talking, I thought about my father, who, I was asking questions when I went home, and he had to take care of two families. He lost his dad when he was in his mid 20s, and he had like eight or nine brothers and sisters with his mom. And so he became like the breadwinner for his mom and his brothers and sisters and for us and our family. And people didn't really understand that dynamic of why you just can't take care of your immediate family. Why you got to take care of everybody else? And it was because he took on that role and nobody really understood the impact it had. And now I'm asking all these questions and I'm getting all this insight. I'm like, now I understand why you was working two and three jobs. Now I understand why you went home all the time because you had two families to take care of. But we don't ask the questions. It can be either because we are fearful of what it's going to be. And the answer is going to be, like you said, he didn't tell you what you wanted to hear. Sometimes we're fearful of being rejected. Man, because I don't want to feel that. What if it don't pan out the way I wanted to? But what if you get the answers that you've been seeking all this time? Yeah.
I don't know. I guess sometimes you feel no answer is better than what you consider the wrong answer,
Mm-hmm.
because that wrong answer, according to you,
Mm-hmm.
just may hurt a little bit more,
Yeah.
or just
Yeah.
may confirm what you've been thinking. And now you're even more angry
Yeah.
than you were before you presented the question to them. So some people just say, well, just let it be, just let it go. Doesn't matter now. It's over. It's bridge under the water. We have all these sayings
Hmm.
to make us feel better about avoiding things that really mean something to us.
And it keeps us stuck. You don't even realize you stuck. You don't even realize that you like, why can't I move forward? We talked about that in one of our episodes. It was that paralysis analysis that you were talking about. You were stuck. And then we started digging and talking after that session, and you were like, I said, well, when did this start happening? Because you haven't always been like this. When did this happen? And then as you start like reflecting on what happened and what transpired when, you was like, this is when this happened, right? Didn't even realize that you're stuck in this cycle, right? Until you start asking the questions. And I love what Deja said. She said, when you are a child, you see things differently than you do as an adult. And that is so true. Like, I couldn't understand, like, I don't have a really great relationship with my mom. And, you know, I now understand her better now, that I'm older than when I was, growing up, right? So you can, because of our experience, right? We now can say, okay, let me look at this with my adult lens on, and let me just look at it from that person's perspective. Because if you bring in your experience with your dad, you asked the questions and it wasn't what you thought he was going to answer, but it was from him. This is how what I was feeling. This is me. And sometimes what we will do is we will put our own perspectives out there and our expectations out there for other people of what we want them to be, and they will never be what we want them to be, or they will never answer the questions the way we want them to be answered.
We want answers that make us feel better.
True,
We want
true.
answers that we can justify their behavior or their absence with,
Mm-hmm.
or the inability to connect or bond the way we
Mm-hmm.
wanted them to.
Mm-hmm.
We always want something to make us feel better. I mean, who doesn't want to be okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who wants to remain angry or to look at someone with such an important title in your life? And I want people to realize that people are not titles. And I know
Mm-hmm.
we're taught to say mom,
Mm-hmm.
we're taught to say dad, we're taught to say grandma, whoever whatever word we use in our families. But behind those titles are people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Behind those titles is a past.
Right.
Behind those titles is also some pain that you don't realize or understand if they don't talk about it. So behind the titles, that's just like you. Sometimes it's a mirror image. They've gone through some
Mm.
things that unfortunately they put you through or you've been through. But we never ask questions to our parents because we just see them as mom, we just see them as
Yeah.
dad, and
Yeah.
they're supposed to be that title to us.
Yeah.
So start seeing your parents if they're still with you as a person.
Yeah.
Sit down with them and ask them, how was your childhood? How did you feel about, where you grew up at? How was the household you grew up in? And maybe you'll get some better understanding as to who they really are behind the title, which you've been calling them your whole life, So I just, even with us, if our children have questions,
We're different though.
yeah,
We're different. So if you think about us being different, where we're open and we want to be the parents that we didn't have, because our parents would talk about stuff. Back in the day, what happens in our house stays in the house. We don't talk about this stuff. We just hush hush. So it's really, that's what we learn, the behavior to sweep things under the rug and just move on with your life. We got to be strong, push through it. You got it. But in all reality, is really having the conversation. And that's why, again, we learned early on that we wanted to be those parents where our children could come to us. They could have conversations with us because we wanted to make sure that we were guiding them the right way and we were giving them something that we were not afforded. And I think that's the best thing as parents to do is to have the conversations. Now, we were strict parents, don't get us wrong, but at the same time, we ate together at the table every night growing up with our children. We had an open forum where say, hey, let's talk about it, because we couldn't necessarily talk about some of the things that are happening in the world today. And it's so good to have that relationship with your children. Deja, you said something in here, and I want to put it out here, is many people talk about grieving parents that's transitioned. But what about those who grieve living parents? I can attest to that. I have craved a relationship for a very long time with my mom, and I love her so much. I really do. However, I have to meet, so at some point, you got to meet people where they are and say, you know what, maybe this is going to be the best it's going to be, or maybe it's not. And a part of that is procrastinating the healing process, right? We don't get the healing that we need. And then it's year after year after year after year. And it's 50 years later, and you're still dealing with unresolved hurt, right? People say time heals all wounds. No, it don't.
that
Time just allows it to fester.
makes you feel better to say that.
It does not heal all wounds. What heals wounds is that intentional processing, that intentional, I need to have a conversation with you. No matter what this person is going to say back to me, I want to make sure I hear them. And it may not be what you want to hear. It may very well not be that, but it's their perspective. And doing the work, you got to do the work when it comes to healing. And another thing is, we scared to have a conversation. Some of these conversations are uncomfortable, not only for us, but for that other person on the side. Our parents may not want to talk to you about it. They may not want to share information with you about their past. They may want to keep it all together, right? And I'll say the last thing, and I'll turn it over to you. Sometimes we don't get healed because we don't want to be seen as weak or dramatic. Because sometimes people do that. When you, I'm gonna call in. We were young back in the day. I'm gonna call in a time where I was so upset with Andre for something, and yeah, I left out the room and I went into the living room and I was crying, and he ain't come after me at all. He heard my feelings. I was like, he ain't even gonna come and check on me. And because of experience, he didn't realize that I was truly hurt. He was like, she's just being dramatic. I'm like, oh, that really. I was like, what is going on? But here's the thing. And what happened? Oh, I'll tell you what happened. I'm gonna turn it back. Oh, I'm gonna turn it over to you. What happened with that? Because he didn't come and see about me. And when I cried or I had some emotions, I stopped having the emotions, and my heart hardened. Because if you don't care about me when I'm hurt or you hurt me, you're not gonna come see about me. You're not gonna check on me. You thinking I'm dramatic. Okay, all right. Guess what? So my heart started hardening because I felt like unheard, unseen, and I wasn't important. And that happens sometimes because we haven't healed. Turn over to you.
I like what they just said about grieving living parents.
Mm.
And sometimes we can't make the connection we want.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes some children are more needy than others.
Mm.
Some children need to be nurtured longer and more than others.
Mm.
Some of them are independent. And some just have that bond with their parent.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be around them. They want to be, with them and check on them. And we just have a connection.
Yeah.
You're my parent. You're my mom. You're my dad. You're my grandparent. I love you.
Yeah.
But they're not like that. If they're not wired that way, if they didn't experience the love,
Yeah, that's
they
it.
may be a little uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
with you asking for something
Mm-hmm.
or trying to initiate something that's very uncomfortable. And they don't know how to respond to it
Yeah.
because it feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get these hugs and all this touching
Yeah.
and
What is this about?
arm around my shoulder while you talking to me, looking at my face. Why are you so close? I mean, what is this all about? What do you need? I'm used to just, giving you your lunch money and buying your school clothes, just the basics.
Mm.
But not all this touching and connecting and loving and really seeing me and wanting to hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them didn't get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as sometimes as children, we don't realize we teach our parents how to love
Mm-hmm.
because they weren't loved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some of us, because we're loving, because we want to listen, because we want to, sit with them and talk to them, they see a different view
Yeah.
of relationship through us.
And that's what it's really supposed to be about. As we evolve, things shouldn't be the same. And so I challenge sometimes the things that have been passed down from generation to generation. That's what my grandma used to do. That's what my great grandma used to do. So sometimes we got to challenge that and say, is that it's because some of it's good. Don't get me wrong. Some of it's really good. But then some of it is jacked up. It really is. It really is. And we got to evaluate those things and see what part of this am I going to keep and what part I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to see what else is out there. We have too many resources that we can tap into in today's age. And learning from our children it's been some of the best experience we've had because our children have taught us how to parent differently. I love my children being adults now, and I'm parenting adults, but they're able to come and have conversations with us and be real with us. Not all the time because they don't want me being in their business, but I be in their business. I don't care. I'm mama. I'll be in your business. It is what it is. Don't. It is whatever. We're gonna talk about it. I want to put Deja's comment out there. She said, I'll be scared. I shall be scared to have those hard conversations unless I'm upset already, which I found to be a defense mechanism. It sure is. And here's the thing, we have to get to a point in life where we do it. We may be scared, but we do it anyway. We have a conversation anyway. Here's the thing, and don't be don't do it from a defense mechanism. I try not to even have conversations when I'm upset, because when I'm upset, I'm really sometimes when I'm upset, my emotions, I'm responding with my I know I'm reacting with my emotions. I am not pausing to really hear what that person is trying to say, because sometimes as people that we already in our minds have already formulated the answer, and sometimes we so busy ready to respond to what that person said, we don't even hear the words that are coming out of their mouth, because we're so quick to say, "Oh no, I got a response for that. Yep, I got a response." So you so angry, you so rammed up, you like, "Oh, I can't wait till my turn. Wait, let me jump in. Let me jump in. Let me jump in." No, pause and just do some active listening. What is this person trying to say? And sometimes what I'll do, because we so different. Listen, we
Are
like,
we?
you listen, and he'll say something, and I may take offense to what he said. He said, "Hold on, what you hear me say?" And I said, "You said." He said, "No, I didn't. That is not what I said."
Mm.
And I said, "So what did you say?" And he'll break it down. I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm wrong. Sorry about that." So when you think about having those uncomfortable conversations, I would say be open to hearing what that person says without judgment, without, getting upset, sitting in it. And even if you can't, because of your emotions, and you can't respond to the conversation, you can say something like, "You know what? You said a lot today. You gave me a lot of information. I need to take that in and just process it." And what that does is that gives you some time to kind of sit back and reflect on the words that were said, so that you can be in a better space to have a conversation with them that will be meaningful. And it may give you some resolve.
As you were talking about being angry while having the conversations, I think if you're angry about something and you only can be angry when you talk about it, that's connected to vengeance.
Mm.
And I say that because when you go in angry, you're expecting something
Mhm.
undesirable.
Yes.
And when you hear it, your anger is fight or flight. It gives you a reason to pull away than to sit there and feel it
Mm.
and accept it, and even accept that person for who they are.
Mm.
So what you do is, in turn, with your anger, you lash out, or you may say something to counter what they said,
Mm.
to make them angry.
Yeah.
So it's a time to transfer your feelings so they can feel what you feel,
Mm-hmm.
which means you have vengeance
Yeah.
in your heart,
Yeah.
and you want them to feel what you feel,
Mm-hmm.
not how you feel. They're going to feel anger
Mm-hmm.
because of what you did,
Yeah.
but they still won't know how you feel because you
Mm-hmm.
still didn't have the conversation. You're waiting to hear something that either confirms something that you were mad about, or it just didn't sound right to you. You feel like
Mm-hmm.
now you're making excuses,
Right.
or here you go again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you want to hear them, but you don't want to finish the conversation
Yeah.
because it's not making you comfortable. It's not making you feel good about what happened.
Yeah.
So watch where your heart is really at.
Yeah.
That vengeance, that transferring of anger, so they can feel what I feel, and you can walk out feeling justified.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel a little bit better
Mm-hmm.
because now they're angry. Well, I'm
Yeah.
angry too, so now we're both mad. So I don't care. So now you never resolve anything.
Yeah.
So just made it worse.
I want to pull up another comment from Deja. She said, it's easier to have hard conversations with my husband, but not with my parents. And it's always probably easier to have it with a spouse, right? You all have a really close relationship. Sometimes it is. I mean, it depends on what your relationship is with your spouse, but I found it's easier to have a conversation um, with you than sometimes other people. But what I do in the meantime, because conversations need to be had and I need to address it, um, I'll pray about it and say, I don't exactly know how this conversation is going to be, but one, quiet my spirit, clean my heart, and help me to be able to put the words together so they hear from my heart. Because that's what you want at the end of the day. You want people to hear from your heart. What are you trying to say? And even if you can't put the words together, there's a couple things that I do. I'll write it down, or I will record it so that I can get my words out I want to say, and then I'll come back and revisit and say, "Ooh, yeah, this is really good. I can say X, Y, and Z." And then again, that prayer really helps because then I sit on it and reflect on it, and I'm like, I want to have this conversation. Probably not today, but I want to have this conversation probably by the end of by the next Friday. I want to have this conversation. So I'm setting a timeline of saying you got to have it because I can't keep holding it on. I can't keep putting it off. I got to have it, but I want to be prepared for me, not for them. It's about you being in a space, a calm space, so that you can have the conversation. And it still may be difficult, but again, you know what charges you. You know what gets you upset. When you feel that happening, you have to pause. Is that close your eyes, take some deep breaths, whatever it needs to do. People, I was telling my dad the other day, people be like, "You made me mad." Ain't nobody make you mad. Can't nobody make you do nothing you don't want to do. We give people that control sometimes. We give them more power. They made me mad. No, they didn't make you mad. They may have done something that caused this emotion, but you have control over said emotion, right? So it's something to think about. And I'm going to talk about one thing that people really don't do when it comes to procrastinating and get the healing that they need. And that is we think we've forgiven when we have just avoided. So we say, I'm a Christian, I'm supposed to forgive, I'm just gonna let it go. I'm just gonna, hey, the part of the problem is you can't forgive what you have not acknowledged, right? You can't release what you have not dealt with. Real forgiveness comes after the work, not instead of the work. Go ahead, Dre.
As you were speaking, it led to something else on here. What Deja said,
Mm-hmm.
grieving someone that's gone. What do you do then? They're
Mm.
no longer here.
Mm.
So I listen to your timeline. I
Mm-hmm.
might not have it today. I'll have it
Mm-hmm.
next Friday.
Mm-hmm.
What if your timeline doesn't meet God's timeline
Mm.
and you run out of time? Now your plans
Yeah.
you can't uphold those plans because they're gone now.
Mm.
So I would say take those opportunities to prepare yourself, to calm yourself.
Mm.
And when you get the opportunity, don't water down
Mm.
what you want to say to the point where you don't say what you really wanted to say
Mm-hmm.
because you think it may hurt their feelings or you think it may not go well if I better not say that.
Yeah.
So you're talking yourself out of the opportunity where that person is there. And then if something happens, you have some type of regret. Well,
Mm.
maybe I should have said this. But maybe I should have worded it that way.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I would have brought this up. So don't take advantage of the opportunity in the time that you have
Mm-hmm.
and give them your heart
Yeah.
and just pray that they can give you theirs.
Yeah.
And accept whatever it is because it's their heart.
Exactly.
And there's nothing you can do about how they feel or what they respond to or
Mm-hmm.
with.
Mm-hmm.
So you're asking a question, it deserves an answer. It's not your answer, it's theirs.
Exactly.
So,
And I also think that if you have questions, sometimes the why did this happen? Why am I still holding on to this hurt? right? I want some answers. And so those things are playing off in your mind, and you start, because we so intelligent, we start assuming, and we start creating a narrative of what happened and what's the answer. And those assumptions are worse than the truth sometimes. We don't even know what the truth is. We assume people did it on purpose. We assume they don't care. We assume they don't love us. Uh, those assumptions sometimes become what you start believing.
It's toxic.
And then those beliefs shape how you see yourself and how you see other people, and then how you move throughout the world. This stuff is tied. This is connected. And people don't really understand that. Assumptions turn into beliefs. Beliefs shape how you see yourself, how you see other people, how you move. It's all connected. So sitting it in, maybe that person has the answer. Sometimes it's an explanation for it. Sometimes it wasn't what you thought at all. Sometimes it's the carrying a story that's not even true. And then here's the flip side of it. Sometimes they ain't got no good answer. They don't have an excuse. They can't explain what happened, why they did what they did. But at least you asked. At least you didn't regret asking the question. And even if they're gone, because my scenario, my my uncle had been dead for, I don't know, he's been dead a long time ago. Shoot, now it's like 40 something years now. No, I'm taking back 30 something years. And even though I never got the answer from him because he died when I was like 15, I was able to forgive because I acknowledged what had happened. And here's the thing, paid for his sin through death. Who am I? I got to do the healing process though. And the healing was sitting in therapy and finding out, getting to the root of why was I like this and what is going on? And what do I need to work on for me to move on with my life? Because I'm stuck in this vicious cycle of self destruction. And until I was thinking, I need to get some answers, but I didn't have time. I didn't have time because that person's no longer here, an opportunity to ask those questions that I needed answers. But what happened in therapy, and I'm going to share this with y'all, was role play. And the therapist did role play with me where I was able to ask questions. And it wasn't, of course, the actual person responding back to me, but they said things that I wasn't expecting to hear, but I needed to hear. And while some people don't really understand what that does, it really helps me kind of like put things in place because it could have been some things that I'll never know about. But I had to have the experience of how do I get through this? How do I go through therapy and be vulnerable so I can be a better mother, so I can be a better wife, so I can be a better sister, a better daughter, a better aunt, a better Christian, a better sister in Christ. I want to be the best version of myself. So in order to do that, I got to do the work. It's all connected.
So I guess, at the end of every day, um, we have the same amount of time every day
Mm-hmm.
to make those calls,
Mm-hmm.
even reach out in a message to see if we get a response.
Mm-hmm.
If it means that much to you to be mad about it, it's mean that much to you to reach out
Yep.
and at least attempt
Mm-hmm.
to do whatever you need to do with a situation that's taking up residency in your heart,
Mm-hmm.
taking a space in your heart that you can't give someone else. Because if you think about it, some of us are irritable.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us are short fused. Some of us are to the point we really don't like tolerating people.
Mm-hmm.
We like being
Mm-hmm.
around people too
Mm-hmm.
long, too much. Even impatient with our children and our grandchildren. Too much noise. You're just so irritable and always getting worked up.
Mm-hmm.
Ask yourself why.
Yeah.
What is it in your heart that you don't have room to be patient?
Yeah.
to be not tolerate your family, but love your family.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it as tolerate. I
Yeah.
can't tolerate all that noise. I'm not. No, don't live like that.
Yeah.
Face what it is. Accept what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's truth.
Yeah.
They say the truth hurts. Huh? Well,
It does. But that's
in that
okay.
sense, it does.
Yeah.
The truth that I'm living with in my heart, it hurts me.
Yeah.
But is it really truth? Was it really something like you said? Is it really something that you suspected happened?
That part.
Is it really something that well, they probably did this because of this.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing them, they probably didn't even, no, you didn't accuse people. You didn't put something on people. You didn't come up with this whole story of
Yeah.
what they probably did. And knowing them, they probably did
Mm-hmm.
this and they probably meant this. They probably meant to do it. They're so conniving. They this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And you haven't given them the opportunity to even answer anything.
Yeah.
So check yourself, check your heart, take inventory of what's in your heart. Write down questions you may have for as many people as you have them for.
Yeah.
And say, okay, when I'm around this person, it's okay to be around them, but sometimes they irritate me
Mm.
because there's something about them that I really don't like or don't understand.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that happened, something you said, heard them say, or you thought they said, and that triggers you when they're around.
Mm-hmm.
Write it down. Say, hey, you know what? I don't. You might not remember this, but when we were at so and so's house, or we were at this gathering, you were talking to so and so, and I thought I heard you say, just get it out.
Mm.
So take inventory of your heart today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Write everything down that's bothering you about whoever it may be, whatever it may be, whenever it was.
Mm-hmm.
If that person is still here, just reach out to them and say, hey, I would like to talk with you about something.
Mm-hmm.
It may not mean anything to you.
Mm-hmm.
You may not remember it all, but for me, there's something bothering me. And I just want to know if we can talk. If I can get any answers from you today, if you're willing to talk to me. Simple as that.
And here's the thing. You may not get the response that you want. You may not get the apology. But I did some as I'm thinking about my own healing, I wrote some things down and I said, and I'm gonna just kind of read through some of my notes. Your healing is not dependent on their participation. Let me say that again. Your healing is not dependent on that person's participation. Your peace is not contingent on if they're going to apologize to you or not, because they very well may not. Your freedom is not locked behind them acknowledging whatever it was that happened. You can heal without them. You can find peace without them. You can be free without them. But you have to do the work. In order for all this stuff that's connected, in order for it to work, you have to do the work. And I'm going to keep talking about therapy because it has helped me. And people say, I don't need no therapy, especially us African American Black people. I don't need therapy. I'm fine. I'm strong. I can handle it on my own. And you still 10 years later dealing with the same stuff. You still 10 years later, still upset, still bitter, still going through the motions because it manifests. When you don't heal, that thing will pop up out of nowhere. And you're like, where did it come from? Wait a minute. See, true healing comes from getting the work done from the inside out. And it is not for weak people, it's for wise people who want to, again, be better. If you don't want to carry on the stuff that you've been holding on for so long, you need help processing that. Because if you could figure it out by yourself, it would have been already figured out. The same thing we say about God. Listen, like, God, I got it. No, you don't. Because if you had it, you would already you wouldn't be in the space that you in, or you wouldn't have gone through some of the stuff you've gone through. We don't have it all the time. We need help sometimes because a good therapist will, or counselor or coach, they will help you one, process the hurt that you've been carrying, ask questions that you never got to ask, and find those answers within yourself. We did that. We do that all the time because I'm a coach and I'll be asking, he'd be like, "Ooh, hold on a minute." And it's like you identify things that you would have never been able to do by yourself. They will challenge the assumptions that you make up in your mind, those narratives that you create that you start believing. They will help you release the weight that you've been carrying. They will help you develop coping mechanisms instead of suppressing it and saying, nah, I ain't gonna deal with this today. And they will help you rebuild the sense of self outside of the pain that you have been holding on to. And I'm gonna talk about what, as you think about therapy, it's not optional, it's really essential. Especially if you want to break the cycle. There's a lot of generational curses and cycles that keep going on and on and on. And it's really up to us individually to break those cycles. And how we do that, and it's going and getting help to help heal from the generational trauma so that we can be set free. I want to talk about forgiveness real quick because forgiveness is something that I really had to learn. Forgiveness is not saying that what they did was okay. Forgiveness is saying, I am not going to let what they did continue to control my life. But forgiveness is not letting them off the hook. Forgiveness is letting me off the hook. Forgiveness is setting me free because I'm not suffocating anymore. I'm not dealing with this anymore. Forgiveness is not about reconciliation. You can forgive somebody and still keep them out your life. Oh, you ain't see. Just because I forgave you don't mean you're going to come back. No, you stay right where you at. Forgiveness is not trust. It is a gift that you give them. Trust is something that they have to earn back if you want them to come back. And one thing I'm going to say about forgiveness, unforgiveness is what I'll say. Unforgiveness doesn't hurt them. It hurts you because they probably already gone on by their life. They doing whatever they doing. And you sitting there holding all that stuff. You sitting up there being mad and feeling I'm justified. They did this, they did that, whatever it is. You're stuck, you're bitter. It keeps you bound. You keep playing all this stuff over and over in your head. So if you playing all this old stuff over and over in your head, you have no room, no space for new stuff. It keeps you focused on that rear view mirror. You looking in the back all the time, looking at that when you got this big wide windshield in front of you, but you so stuck on that little mirror where you looking back at your past. It's not easy to forgive. But when it is time to forgive and release, you said this not too long ago, let God handle it. We be getting in God's way. Like we can handle his business. Get out his way. Let him do what he do. Let him take it on so that you can live your life fully. You have to release it to receive it. I'll turn it over to you.
Well, I don't have much more. I've enjoyed this series of procrastination and just the insight and how much you can unwrap when you really think about stuff. And you really take a topic that really is common to a lot of people and you study it and you look at it for what it really is and what you can really get from it.
Yeah.
And just want to let you know that every void is not just a void, it's a choice.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So that thing that's missing, that question that's connected to that pain that hasn't been answered, sometimes it's a choice.
Yeah.
We just don't do what we need to do.
True.
To rectify.
Yes.
And to just get past it.
Yeah.
You know, we're so afraid to upset people while we're upset.
Yeah.
Or to some families say, you know, you're stirring up old mess. I heard that quite a bit. Don't start stirring up old mess. Just leave it where it is. Don't ask that many questions and certain things you don't need to know. It's like, well, it's a part of my life too.
Yeah.
And just because you don't want to deal with it, why shut me out from knowing what's affecting my family? What's affecting you from being who you really want to be.
Mm-hmm.
But your void, your hurt, it's affecting everybody.
Yeah.
So when grandma and granddad didn't talk about certain things, it shut us out from
Mm-hmm.
knowing what's really happening.
Yeah.
And we felt there was some deep, dark secrets and mysteries going on that
Because it was.
nobody is supposed to know. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, somebody knows and it's going on around us and it affects us. That's why our family is not as whole as it can be.
Mm-hmm.
Because y'all just holding everything in. Your heart's so heavy. You're drinking, you're cussing, you're fussing, you're fighting. It's a response to what you're feeling.
Yeah.
But if you just get through it, you can reverse that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, we can have good conversation, healthy conversations.
Mm-hmm.
We can live, we can love, we can laugh together.
Yeah.
Instead of all the cussing, fussing, and fighting, and people separating and forming into cliques and families and avoiding people, not answering the phone when certain people call, and can't be around each other too long before one person ignites everybody. you know, it's just a lot to deal with, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the plan of the enemy
Yeah.
to kill, steal, and destroy,
Yeah.
to break up families, to break up marriages, to separate people,
Yeah.
even children from parents, husbands and wives.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a vicious cycle that we continue to allow to happen because, like my wife said, we don't do the work and we allow fear to paralyze us.
Mm-hmm.
And we accept the fact that we're not okay.
Yeah.
Our hearts are heavy, we're hurting, we're depressed,
Mm-hmm.
we're disgusted with some things and some people and the way our lives have gone. Now we're 50, 60, 70 years old,
Yeah.
and we still are that little girl, that little boy. We're just older.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
still in that same place in our hearts.
Exactly.
But through life, we pile more and more on top of it. So do what you need to do.
Well, I want to close. I want to connect this again with what I do. We all got to bring this together, right? So we talked about, you know, procrastinating our healing, right? So how do we break the cycle? How do we stop procrastinating our healing? How do we move from being stuck to free, right? So I got some steps. I'm gonna highlight them because I got notes because I got so much to talk about. Step one is acknowledge what you're carrying. Stop pretending you fine. Stop minimizing the hurt. Hurt is hurt. Stop telling yourself it's not a big deal. Name whatever it is. Acknowledge that it happened. Acknowledge that it hurt you. And acknowledge that I've been carrying this for X amount of time. Two, make the decision to heal. That's your choice. It ain't your mama's, your daddy's, nobody else's. Nobody can make that choice for you. You have to decide that you're tired of being stuck. You have to decide that your peace matters more than their apology. You have to decide that your life is too valuable to spend carrying somebody else's weight. Three, have a conversation if you can. If that person is still alive, still accessible, still in your life, have a conversation. It's going to be scary, but do it anyway. Prepare yourself, pray about it, but give yourself the opportunity to speak your truth and seek understanding. Four, do the work, even if you can't have a conversation. If they're gone, maybe they no longer living. If they're unsafe, you know, like my life at risk if I had this conversation, or if they are unwilling, because everybody ain't gonna be willing to talk to you, and that's okay. Do the work anyway. Go to therapy, go to counseling, uh, journal, pray, process, and try to get some healing. Because, as I talked about, your healing don't require their participation. Five, forgive and release. Not for them, for you. Not because they deserve it, because you deserve to be free. Forgive so that you can live. Release so that you can receive. And let God handle all that stuff you've been carrying. The last thing I have on here is commit to living, not just existing. Make a decision that you're not going to let your past steal your future. You are not going to let their actions dictate your life. You're going to embrace the fullness of what God has blessed you with. You got so much inside of you. You're going to step into your purpose. You're going to experience joy. And let me tell you, when you heal, you start experience a joy that you ain't never seen or experienced before. And you're going to love so deeply. I got you blushing over here. And you're going to trust again. You're going to live. Listen, God did not bless you with this beautiful life that we have so that you can spend it being stuck in 10 years, 5 years, 20 years. And I'm a witness because it was 29 years for me. 29 years that I wasn't living my life to the fullest. That I was some parts were in a destructive cycle, but sometimes I was bitter, I was angry, and he got most of it. Sorry. But it was because I was stuck. He didn't give you the purpose so you can spend your days replaying old hurts. He did not give you joy so that you can keep it locked behind unforgiveness. He gave you life so you can live it freely, abundantly. But nobody can make you do nothing. Nobody can make you stop carrying whatever you're carrying until you are ready to put whatever it is down and do the work and get the healing that you deserve, that you need for you to be a better version of you. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be hard. It's going to be scary. But guess what? It's time. If you still dealing with stuff, it is time. It's time to have the conversation. It's time to ask the questions. It's time to get help. It's time to do the work. It is time to forgive. It's time to release. It's time to let God handle whatever that stuff is.
Okay. Who's with us?
We have um we have Deja with us. She said commit to living and not just existing. That's a word. Yes, ma'am. Commit to living and not existing. We don't want to leave this life without fully enjoying it. Oh, why are you here? If you angry, bitter, and you holding on to all this stuff all the time, that ain't life. That ain't living. Tell you, I ain't going back. We have Michiko. Hey, that's all I can see right now. There may be some more people come on, but I can't. I can only see who comes in and chats because I can't see everybody. But one of the things that I want to say is I want to thank you all for joining us today because we've been doing this podcast for since March.
Yeah, March.
Since March, and it's really been a blessing. We didn't know all the things that we would be sharing, but it's good. It's a good experience to have conversations and to be talking about things that we deal with all the time. And I see a comment from Michiko. I love what you're saying because what you're saying is truth. I've learned to let go of the pain of the past. Now I'm trying to live with my new normal. Yes, ma'am, you better live, girl. I seen you wish for your birthday. You was living, living, living. Continue to live fully. I'm hoping that you do a series on grief. We're gonna do that next. And for next year, we're gonna close out this year with thankfulness. One of the things my husband said was, we sometimes get so caught up in what's wrong, what's happening, what's bad going on, that sometimes we don't get to sit in our goodness. What's good? What's good happening? So in 2 weeks, we'll be back and we'll be talking about thankfulness. We'll be talking about what's happening good. How do we show appreciation? So come in and be thankful for that. That is what we want to talk about, right? We are sharing our stories, and we are so thankful that you are connected to us. And again, next year, we're going to be bringing people on the stage with us. This year has been just like us trying to fill it out and get comfortable with, different topics. But I have a friend who specializes in grief. And I'm going to bring her on. And so we can talk about grief because sometimes we don't deal with it. That's another thing we sweep under the rug. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. And we do ourselves a disservice by not feeling. I lost my sister 3 years ago. And let me just tell you, it hurt my heart. So there are times where, Yeah, I'm gonna be crying. Like special moments, I can't even help it. I can't even stop it. Nor do I want to, because I want to just experience the grief of missing her, and it's okay. But here's what I also do: I bring in the good memories too, and those make me cry because I'm like, we had so much good times, so it makes me cry sometimes. But it's okay. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to release because you had a connection with that person. You had a relationship with that person. Why wouldn't you grieve them? So, yes, ma'am, we will have a series on grief. So, thank you so much for that. We love you so much. I'm going to turn it over to you to close us out. So.
Once again, thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing this moment with us. It means so much to us. And we hope that we could have said something to encourage you, to inspire you, and to ignite that fire in you to live your life. So until next time, be safe and be blessed. God loves you, and we do too.
Love y'all.
Thank you for tuning in.
When words were hard to find, we never gave up on love, no, 'cause you made a promise you'll always